Hey everyone, this is Anil Gupta. I'm a CEO and co-founder of Multidots, Multicollab, and Dot Store. And today I have Pooja Bhimani here, and Pooja and I we are going to um, discuss about few really complex feature that we have built in Multicollab, and one of them is suggestion mode. If you have used Google Doc, you might have used the this feature where anything you change or someone change in the document basically becomes an edit, and it will highlight it as an edit. So in a Google Doc, it looks very simple, because it's self-hosted and they have only very limited number of elements, design elements. But when we have to bring or build something like that inside Gutenberg or WordPress, that is a really big problem. And Pooja and her team has been working on this problem for a while. Pooja joined Multi-Dots, I think 2 years ago, Pooja,
Yes, yes.
right? So it has been almost
Yeah,
2 years.
before 2 years.
Was that?
Yeah, before 2 years.
Yeah, so more than 2 years, she has been in Multi-Dots and she has been working on Multicollab team and has worked and contributed a lot on this feature. So that's what we are planning to do today, to give you a little bit of behind the scene view of suggestion feature in Multicollab. And with that, I'll have Pooja. It's good to have you here, and I'm glad that we had a chance today to connect and talk about suggestion feature a little bit more. I know you and I had several different weekly meetings, and also we talk about that
Yes,
all the
yes,
time. But I'm very
yes.
much excited this time to share some of your work that you have done, challenges that you are facing with suggestion mode with our audience and listeners, and whoever is interested in learning a little bit more about collaboration features inside WordPress. So
Yeah.
could you start with your
Uh,
introduction?
yeah, sure. So, hello everyone. And first of all, thanks, Anil, that giving me this opportunity that I can share something about the behind the scenes of the,
Yeah.
suggestion mode. And as you mentioned that the suggestion mode is really complex with the Gutenberg, right? So first I introduce myself. I'm Pooja Bhimani, and uh, as Anil mentioned, I'm working with Multicolor with the 2 years, and yeah, we have done lots of changes and customizations with the Gutenberg editor, with the core native blocks. You can say that. So it's really good opportunity and same time the challenging one. So yeah, it's quite exciting that I can say that the work in a multi-collab suggestion feature because there is so much room for the learning. Uh, every day you have a new challenges and new problems that you need to face, and keep in mind that it should work with the code WordPress and as well as the Gutenberg core editor. I'm sorry. So we need to take care of the both the things and then provide the customizations, or you can the extra things that
Mm.
user can enjoy without any hurdles, right? So yeah, I can say it's a big opportunity for whole team and me that we have that feature, and due to that, we are learning a lot. Yeah, so thanks for that.
No, absolutely. And in fact, as a developer and as a coder, I'm very jealous because this is a kind of problem that each developer's dream is to work on this kind of problem, right? So uh,
Yes,
doing something that doesn't exist in such a large platform as WordPress, it's such a big platform and widely popular, massively used, and building um, a feature like suggestion, Google Doc style suggestion mode inside WordPress is a huge problem and challenge. And as a developer, yeah, I think it will be an awesome dream to work on something like that.
yes.
So yeah, I'm jealous, but I'm also really proud, yeah, to have you and the rest of the team member who are working on this along with me.
Right, right. Yeah. So yeah, as you mentioned that the Google Doc is a self-hosted, and for that it's maybe the easy thing. But with the WordPress and with the Gutenberg editor, yeah, we are facing many challenges in that, and it's a quite exciting thing that
Yeah.
that we need to resolve. As you mentioned that nothing is right now, and we are providing the communities, right? So yeah, that's a big thing.
Yeah. Awesome. So I'll give a little bit background on where we are with the suggestion mode, and then Pujala, I have some questions that um, I think it will be very helpful for anyone who is interested to learn more about how we have built suggestion feature inside WordPress. So
Mhm.
at this moment, the way suggestion mode works is that when you install Multicollab plugin, we have for asynchronous communication, we have offered two different ways. One is inline commenting. So that's where you can select any part of the text or media, and then you will be able to leave a comment or start a conversation. And so that's commenting, inline commenting feature that enables editorial team for more async communication. Another way, another big feature, which is suggestion mode. So that actually not only enables the async communication, but it is a great tool for designing certain kind of editorial workflow. So it provides a great way to design a workflow or improve the workflow. What I meant by improving the workflow, because when you use the suggestion mode in Multicollab, uh, any user makes any edits in the Gutenberg content, it will become as a suggestion. It will highlight as an edit. So without losing the content, previous content, and without going back and forth between content revisions and all, you can very beautifully and in an awesome UI interface, you can see all the edits made by the other users in the content. So that way, it allows the whole editorial team to actually um, approve the content, review the content, and have a conversation on a piece of content. And that's how you can actually implement a very beautiful editorial workflow in a way where the content changes and suggestions and things like that have been reviewed, approved, and done in a more collaborative way. So that's how a lot of our clients who are using Multicollab are utilizing this feature. And so that's kind of like a background that how this feature benefit editorial team and what problem it is solving. And with that background, Pooja, I have my first question for you, that if you can explain a little bit about the technical architecture of suggestion feature, like what did you, when in the beginning, when first time we wanted to solve this problem, how did you approach about this problem? What any technology that you're using, any particular tech stack that you want to mention, or anything else related to technical architecture of suggestion feature?
Sure. So, for that, first thing is that we need to find the difference between the any string, or you can say that the content, right? That already have in editor, and we are add some new content in that editor. So we need to find the difference, right? So for that, we are tried many libraries, but somehow we are not getting the result as per our expectation, because in Gutenberg. There are many attributes or tags or even our own functionality, that is the comment, right? So keep in mind all that. So we are finding one Google Diff checker library. So in that, somehow we are not getting as much our expectation. So we are find other different libraries like Visual Dome Differ. So in that, what we are doing is we are converting string into the node, and then after compare node to node, right? So for that purpose, node to node, we have a accurate result for using the tags and attributes too, because Gutenberg is with the many attributes and tags, right? So we need to find the difference between the tags, in the tag, and using the tag, right? So for that, we have taken the base thing from the, you can say that the Google Diff Checker library or Visual DOM, but to fulfill our expectation, we have did lots of customizations or new things, you can say that. But yeah, definitely we have taken reference from the Google Diff Checker and Visual DOM. And the another thing is
One
for
question,
technical
Pooja, I have there is,
yes.
are we using both Google Diff and Visual DOM or just using one right
No,
now?
no. We are taking the some part of the Google Diff Checker and some from the Visual DOM as per our expectation. And
Got it.
that was the just base.
Hmm.
That is the just base.
Hmm.
Apart from that, we have done lots of customization and our own coding. But
Hmm.
for that diff checker, we have using that base libraries,
Got it.
Google Diff
So
Checker and
we are
Visual
using a
DOM.
little bit from Google Diff and a little bit from
Yes,
Visual DOM. And then you and your team has also done a lot of custom code on
yes.
top of that in order to achieve the suggestion mode in WordPress.
Right, right.
Great.
Because what happened in Google Diff, we need to provide the simple string
Hmm.
tags. You can say that simple line, but that not works for us
Hmm.
because we need to taken care of lots of things, right? So for Visual DOM checker, that library will convert string into the node. So we are taking that part from the Visual DOM, and for finding the diff checker, we are taking that part from the Google Diff library. So you can see that the mixture of two, three libraries, and with our own customizations, we have built this feature.
Right. No, that's great. And another question I have on that is both this Google Diff, Visual DOM, as well as any custom code that we have done, is that JavaScript, React, PHP? Like, what is the majority of?
Yeah, it's you can say that the plain JavaScript,
Okay.
because we need to take care of the performance as well, right?
Right.
So plain JavaScript is far faster than any other things, right? And this kind of diff checker, we can't use. I mean, we haven't choose to use React because Gutenberg is already in React base, right? So in future, suppose there are some conflicts in libraries or dependency, so we are choosing that we are using only plain JavaScript, so we can handle the things and we can the customize or scalable the things, right? So for that, plain JavaScript is easy. So yeah, for that purpose, we are using only plain JavaScript to check the differences between the nodes or anything. And in Gutenberg, we have implement this library and then convert this thing with the React. So you can see that when it's come with the Gutenberg picture, there is a React, but the finding the difference, there is only plain JavaScript library.
Got it. So
yeah,
for performance reason, you decided that we will be using the plain JavaScript or advanced JavaScript instead of the React or like any other coding language. Makes sense.
Right.
Good. Awesome. Yeah, anything else you want to mention about the technical architecture before we move on to the next?
Yeah. So for that, to need to store suggestions history, or you can say suggestions details, right? So we have taken our own meta key, custom meta key, where we maintain the post content with the suggestions. Right. So there is a one custom meta key where we are storing our suggestion history, suggestions details, because there are multiple users on a one post or page, and we need to take care of that all suggestions, right, providing by the different users. So yeah, for that, all the things are covering our custom meta key. And we are also providing many suggestion settings, like if you are using the suggestions with the custom post type or not. If a suggestion is allowing when you are publishing your post, or you need to just provide a user to reminder that There are many suggestions open. Would you still like to publish your post or not? So there are lots of multilingual. So there are lots of settings that also we are providing with the suggestions. So that all settings we are maintaining with the option keys. So yeah, so that kind of technical architecture we are using right now with the suggestion mode.
Right. Nice. So yeah, I think that was one of the things I was also curious about, that where we are storing all these changes, like any edits or anything. Is it something that we are storing in the yeah, if you can tell about just the table names that we are using.
Sure thing. Yeah. In post meta table, as I mentioned, we have our own meta key. So we are storing in post meta with our own key.
Is a table. Okay.
Right. So in post meta, we have a relationship with the post ID and with our own custom key, where we are storing all our suggestion histories and details. You can say that because we need to take care of the before value. If you have edit anything, so before edit what it was, and after you are applying anything in editor with the accept or reject, right? So we need to maintain little things. So all that things covered in our meta key, you can see that, and which we are storing in our post meta table, WordPress post meta table.
Right. So one nerdy question that I have there, which is, let's say if there is any part of the content that I have changed like multiple times and different times, like I made it bold and italic and underline, and I changed the text and I changed the color and alignment. So let's assume that altogether there are roughly 10 to 15 different edits in just one part of the content. And all these edits. So for example, and somebody has accepted that, and now the 15th number edit that I did, that is the one that is the right now as a current. But later on, after 2 months or 3 months, the site administrator or someone want to see that what were all those 15 previous edits in this part. Is that something that we store in database and someone can review it for the legal purpose if they have to, or?
Yeah, sure. So as I mentioned, in our post meta table, there is a key, custom key, in where we are storing all the things using the JSON, right? So JSON array there, and as well as a UI prospect in Multicollab, there is a one feature that is the activity panel. So in that we are storing all the history, right? So even if suggestion is accepted or rejected, or still suggestion are open, right? So all that things they can see in our activity panel, right? So whatever kind of suggestions still open after 2 years, they need to just check to that activity panel, and they can see all the things that. And even if he would like to see the summary, so in dashboard we are providing that features too. Post wise, you can see that what the activity is going on, how many comments are open, how many suggestions are open, right? So we are providing summaries as well in our report section.
Right. No, that is great. And I think the one reason why I brought that up, because as you know, Gutenberg Phase 3 roadmap has just recently been announced. And one of the big topic of that roadmap and the discussion is content revision, post revision, and history. And yeah, I'm not 100% sure, but I think there is a really good use case of what we have done with suggestion mode and Visual DOM and how we are maintaining all those changes in the database. There is some correlation where something that we have done architecture level can be utilized for creating the whole new way to manage the post revision in phase 3 or just in general collaboration.
Right.
Yeah.
Right, that's
that
right.
And even maybe for the discussion, but yeah, I just wanted to see.
Yeah, so I just would like to share one thing if you have raised that post revision thing. So interesting thing is that in WordPress revision, you can see all the suggestions changes and comment changes. So if you just restore your to revision before what your content was. So at that time, you can check that how many suggestion at that time and right now how many. So we are storing our suggestion in and comment in revision too.
Hmm.
So yeah, that's the benefit that user can move any revision and they
Yeah,
can still have their suggestion and comment in that.
correct. Yeah. No, I love that. And I love the how you thought about this problem, specifically making sure that all the edits, like previous edits, even after 2 months or 3 months, they are available and accessible. And I think that is something that is very important for larger tutorial team or enterprises
True.
to for audit or any legal or just the audit purpose to see what are the changes has been done in a piece of content. And yeah, I think even more like right now my understanding is that in WordPress we have post revision, but it is more on the entire content level. But here with the
Right.
suggestion mode we have more specific part of the content, so let's say just to
Right.
see that how many edit has been done in this one paragraph or one word. That is
Word.
something that we
Yeah.
can pull it off very quickly and nicely. And so we are maintaining the content revisions on element level, like content, part
Yes.
of the content that pieces, right? So that's, I think, awesome. And maybe the post revision, we can utilize some of this for sure, and will be something towards looking into it. But yeah, maybe we'll talk about that in another topic. But today, let's go back to the
Yeah.
board. All right, so we talked about the technical architecture, Pooja. The next question I have
Mhm.
is, what is the biggest challenge in building suggestion mode in WordPress, from your
Yeah.
opinion?
Yeah. So first challenge was that Gutenberg is with many attributes and tags, right? So for that, and the another one is that every time when you reload the page, Gutenberg create new block ID for existing block, right? So if I have done any suggestions and edit, and then I have just save draft and reload the page, and when I come again with that post or page, at that time I just find the another block ID, right?
Hmm.
So to maintaining the suggestions on particular paragraph, that is the big challenge because every time we are getting the different block ID.
Hmm.
And the another challenge is this suggestion mode is particularly for backend, right? So whatever edit happens, that wouldn't affect on a front end side or even the preview side, right? So we need to maintain the content for the front end or preview and backend as well, right?
Hmm.
So those changes were done only on backend, and when the user reload the page or come back again with that post, we need to maintain the history and content, exactly where the suggestion happened or edit happened, what kind of edit happened, right? So there are little things that we need to keep in mind, especially with the Gutenberg architecture, because we don't have the simple string like the Google, or you say that the with the self-hosted, even though Gutenberg has many other things, like the right hand side attributes,
Hmm.
toolbar attributes, right? Even in blog there is a different attributes with the block wise. The list block has a different architecture to provide the list. The paragraph has a different architecture, right? So to make it compatible with all these things, yeah, initially that was the challenge, that how we can do that. But day by day we finding the solution that convert string into node and then compare the node, and inside the node we are comparing the tag as well. So there are lots of challenges because we need to take care the Gutenberg uh, and also WordPress.
Hmm.
So yeah, so that was the challenges. But luckily, when we dig into it and we find the solution one by one and find the good solution, you can say that. And now you can see that suggestion mode is compatible with the all text block, covering the paragraph, list, heading, pull quote, right? And as I mentioned, that list has a different attribute list. Pull quote has a different attribute list, right? Even you can see that in attribute there is a different name for the attributes. So
Mm,
in paragraph there is an attribute name is a content where all content save. But
mm,
in list we have a same content with the values attribute,
mm,
right? So that little things, and we take care that we are not doing anything static,
mm.
because suppose in version 6.2 or 3 they have changed the attribute name, right? So it couldn't impact our existing code.
Right.
So yeah, so there are so many things that we need to take care or think about, that what if in next version this thing is deprecated or this thing
Right.
is changed, right? So I can say that, and the one big challenge that we need to take care of the front end content and back end content both. Yeah,
Right.
so lots of things at that time initially, but now we are in on a good stage.
Nice. No,
Yeah,
yeah. So let me summarize some of the things that you mentioned, and I'll add some of my thoughts into that. So the first problem that you mentioned
sure.
was how Gutenberg, like all the different content or blocks, they assign a unique ID to each account
Yes.
and unique ID. So ideally, like, so like the first thought would be like, all right, so if I want to build a suggestion feature, I will actually use that ID, unique ID, and try to play around it. But in this case, what happens is Gutenberg changes that ID each time you refresh.
Yes.
So you have to kind of like, yeah, solve that problem, which I can imagine that
Mm.
would be a very, very complex thing, like, finding a workaround for that. Second thing you mentioned, which is about that any edits that you do in the content. So there are multiple version of the same content. One is under the pending review, one is suggested, one is accepted, and there are plenty of other edits which has been done. So which version to show in the preview and the final, so
Yes.
ensure that the pending one or something that is edited, so you don't need to show that, because you need to show the one which is not, until somebody accept or reject, you have to make sure that you show the
True.
original content, and in some cases you need to show the accepted content. So yeah,
Yes.
that's a lot of decision making, and it logically for the preview as well as published content. So yeah, so that's the second one. And third, you mentioned about, which in my opinion, I think it's really challenging, because what you mentioned is inside the content editor, there are right sidebar, so there are a lot of little controls. For example, there is an image or something, you can actually, there is a slider you can drag and, like, slide left
Yes.
and right, and it will expand, zoom in and zoom out. So there are like some of those attributes, and how to cover that in the suggestion mode. Like if somebody is like, changing the image size from that sidebar, then how to think about. So I can see that there are a lot of these little different options and controls that WordPress and Gutenberg provides, and making
Yes.
that decision about which one we should register or highlight as an edit and which one we should not can be a big challenge. And it's not just bold, italic, and underline, like three format
Yes.
font size. It's they're adding a block, they're removing a block, they're moving block from
Yes.
top to bottom, copy and pasting, and like, the all those little different things that usually we don't think about. But in this case, when we are building a feature like suggestion mode, yeah, we have to think about all of those use cases. Um, no, so yeah, I think I do understand. And one last thing that you mentioned is compatibility with the block. So each block inside
Mhm.
WordPress and Gutenberg are very different, and so
Yes.
there are a bunch of native blocks, but then on top of
Yes.
that we have reusable blocks, you have dynamic blocks, and then you have custom blocks and static blocks. So
Right.
there are like a variety of different blocks. Some of them
True.
blocks are also built by the third party, other developers and companies. So factoring all that into suggestion mode and making sure that suggestion mode works pretty much for all the different types of blocks. And yeah, so it is very complex. And yeah, my head just started spinning as I think.
Yeah. So that's why I said that it's very interesting, and every day you face the challenge, and
Yeah.
yeah, it's
But I'm
roller
very
coaster.
proud of you and the team that you have been working tirelessly for more than 2 years on this
Right.
problem. And yeah, I have talked to multiple different clients and users who are using Multicollab. Some of them
Mm-hmm.
are very large enterprises and publishers, and the
Mm-hmm.
way it is helping them to solve their improve their editorial workflow and improve their publishing
Right.
speed. Just
Mm-hmm.
see little work that we have done with on Multicollab, how it's impacting and helping the publisher. It's a great satisfaction for me as a founder and the CEO of this company, but also I'm sure like as a developer, it might be another level of proud when you build this complex
Right.
everything that you described earlier, like it, it's like the problem itself, just listening the problem itself is complex, but us finding a solution might be another level of efforts that you have to put in.
Yeah, so there is a one key thought that it impact on many lives and many
Yeah.
editors and publishers, right? So that keep motivating us and finding the solutions and
Yeah.
providing the solutions.
Yeah. No, actually, there is one thing that really motivates me, which is Steve Jobs, when he asked his um, technical team, like when you
Mm-hmm.
boot a MacBook, it takes certain minutes or seconds to turn on. Like when you can, from when it turn off and turn on, it will take like a minute or something earlier in 90s. So Steve Jobs asked his developers and told them like, hey, this is taking 1 minute to boot. We need to reduce that down. I wanted this MacBook to turn on faster, like not 1 minute, maybe less than 20 second or 30 second. So then all the developers were questioning like, what difference it's gonna make? It
Mm-hmm.
still is fast enough, and 1 minute is still good speed. Why we have to turn down from 1 minute to 30 second or 20 second? Why is it that important? We can put our time and energy into some other features and things
Other
like
times.
that. At that time, Steve Jobs said very beautifully. He said, each 22nd that
Hmm.
imagine that if MacBook is utilized by 100 million people, and then each 30-second that they have to wait, we are wasting millions of like compounding all those 30 seconds with 100
Right.
people, we are wasting human like a 1 month of human life every day. And that is how you need to sometimes look into like one little thing that we solve, how it impacts, so it's not just the 20-second, and that's how
Yeah.
we also see in Multicollab that even little time that we can help save editorial team using Multicollab, it will compound into a huge impact because their
Huge
content
impact.
will
Yeah.
go stories and content will go faster to the
Sure.
readers, and we know that like what is the impact of the information getting on time and to the right people. Anyways, all right, so let's wrap up on that question, and the last question I have for you, Pooja, which is
Mm-hmm.
what are the new features or things that you're working on suggestion mode, or maybe if you can share a little bit of a roadmap of what our users can expect in suggestion mode in next few months.
Yeah, sure. So as of now, you can see that the suggestion mode is compatible with the all text block, like paragraph, heading, list, right? But for a other type of category, you can see that the media. So in media, we have discussed that lot of things, that image, audio, video, and all blocks have a different attributes as mentioned, that replace the image, change the image width, right? So we need to take care of all the details according to that blocks. So there are dynamic block as well, custom block. So we are planning to make suggestion mode compatible with the all Gutenberg core block, native blocks, right? And another main feature that is the undo redo. because as a publisher or editor, that's the frequent thing that we need to do our content undo redo, right? So we are planning to maintain that history as well with the undo redo. So yeah, that's the big challenge as of now. But yeah, in our roadmap, that is the more interesting thing. You can say that the undo redo is a main feature in our upcoming release or roadmap.
Right. So we just released or going to release in few days our 3.4.
Yes.
Right. So 3.4
Yeah.
itself has a lot of improvements in suggestion feature
True.
and like a lot of compatibility and things like that. So yeah, that's awesome. So I think 3.4 itself will, you worked a lot in last few months to enhance
Right.
suggestion features. So that is something that I'm very excited about. And I hope all our users will be able to utilize that and take an advantage of that. But on top of that, you mentioned about that in the next few release, one big focus is undo and redo. So whenever users are making any edits and they are doing, undo or redo, so those are also highlighted well and maintained well for the history and tracking. That's awesome. And then second thing you mentioned, which is about you are working on extending the support for the suggestion mode for the more blocks and actions.
Yes.
Right? So there are blocks,
Right.
and then there are a bunch of different actions
Attributes. Yes.
attributes that the user takes on each block. So that's our goal to kind of like make sure that all the native and popular blocks, widgets are all supported by the suggestion mode. And majority of those actions are also something that are very, very well recorded as an edit for the suggestion mode. Those who are interested to learn a little bit more about what is compatible, what is not compatible with suggestion mode, maybe we'll link to, with this video, we'll link to our compatibility matrix where users can see what is currently supported on suggestion mode and what are those features which are not yet supported, but will be provided as a support in the future. Great. Thanks, Pooja. Thanks for
thanks a lot
sharing all that intimate details about how we have built suggestion mode, some of the challenges, and coding architecture behind the suggestion mode. It was great to have you here. And
thanks a lot.
Yeah, I hope the discussion that we had today will help anyone who is curious to learn more about the suggestion mode. And with that note, let's wrap it up here.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for this interview. And yeah, I'm quite excited that many people know more detail about in suggestion mode. And after that, they are, more interested in how suggestion mode will work because we have taken care of lots of small detailings. So yeah, hope so.
And I also want to see, after watching this video, if there is anyone, maybe technical, non-technical users who are interested to even see a little bit more about how we have built the suggestion mode. So then that might be another series that you and I can do where you can share your screen.
Sure thing.
How you are storing all these different edits and things like. So maybe just going a little bit behind the code, behind the architecture, and kind of show them, what we talked about.
Sure.
All right. So we'll make sure how people, if they want it, and based on that, maybe we'll do another one.
Sure thing. Yeah.
Thanks, Pooja. Thanks for having here.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you so much.